The two stared down at each other for what seemed like hours. Doma with a smile and Yin with both shock and fear, knowing that she had already messed up. She had wished to let the demons believe that she was dead, but already such a reality couldn't come true, just from her standing there. I know I would have killed you, Doma mused, flicking his golden fan open and closed. I absorbed you after I slit your throat. So you should have lived on forever inside me. Now, how are you here? Unless. Stalking even closer, he inhaled deeply. He smiled, then turning into a frown as he said, No, you're the same person. Yin stared at him, her body frozen to the spot as her mind swirled. Shit, I fucked up. Doma, Taki, Kitaru, they were supposed to think I was dead. And now, tell me, Doma continued, holding up his bladed fan to her neck. How are you alive? His usual carefree nature was gone. Instead, the gears in his head turning. There was no possible way a human he had killed hours ago could be alive again standing before him. But there was an impossibility. The ability to regenerate after death was an ability only granted to the immortal and undying demon that lurked in the darkness. But a mortal possessed such a power. It made his eyes narrow. Answer me, he uttered softly, his tone, however, holding a dangerous edge. All Yin did was turn her head away, instead staring at the wall in front of her. She didn't have to tell him anything, especially since if he killed her, she would merely revive after that fact. In an instant, she felt the cold and piercing pain of Doma's fan slash against her throat. Grabbing the now tarted skin that was leaking blood with a choked gasp, she glared up at him with anger and irritation in her gaze, but no fear of death, he assured he would see. I guess I'll have to find out your secret soon then, huh? He smiled, wagging his fangs in a goodbye. Wagging his fingers in a goodbye signal before her vanish went black. Doma watched as Yin's body collapsed before him, her blood spilling out and staining the wooden floor in a deep maroon. It wasn't in his nature to merely just sit and stare at the body of one of his victims, but something compelled him to. He knew that she was dead, as he killed her by his hands, yet somehow she remained alive. If this is any way tied to his wishes, to the blue spider lily, then I'm sure this won't be a waste of time. As Doma watched the corpse, bored out of his mind, yet not once allowing his gaze to waver, night soon bled into day, and by midday, there was finally a twitch in Yin's arm. It was a movement so discernible that the normal human eyes would have been able to catch it. But Doma wasn't human. His eyes widened. He watched as slowly the color, the life-like tint of Yin's skin was once regained the color, and the wound on her neck be healed. It amazed him as this human, who he had killed, felt her blood on his hands even, blinked her eyes open before finally sitting up with a groan, immediately sensing his presence and frowning. She scowled something in a language he couldn't quite understand, not even afraid anymore that Doma was a demon and she was a human. The power he used to hold was gone, that all demons held was gone, because she could keep regenerating again and again after death. Even as a human, the natural fear of demons as predators was disarranged. Remarkable, Doma muttered, using her tired a mental and physical state to prod at her like she was a project that was an exceptional on, running his fingers down her neck to find it was no oh my God, illusion that was tricking his eyes. You truly are still alive. How unfortunate for you. Yin recoiled at his words. What? What does he mean by that? Before she could even say anything, Doma beat her to it by standing up with a clap to exclaim, Well then, that decides it. I need to bring you to the meeting called by him. Yin furrowed her brows at the statement. However, it wasn't long before the pieces soon fit together when she realized what he meant. In a matter of seconds, she was bolted out of the door, running as fast as she could away from the shack. She didn't stop until the burning ache in her side finally crept to her point, where she fell to the ground barely a mile away, sweating and out of breath. Doma can't be in the sun. He can't follow me. I'm safe, for now at least. Breathing in deeply, or as much as she could, due to the pain that ached at her side, Yin took off running back down the mountain, irritated that she was just going back and forth at this time, cautiously moving around that village that she so clearly made obvious she was not welcomed in. She moved as quickly as she could down the dirt road, having time on her side as the sun just peeked in the sky. Damn, that was so lucky. Smiling in victory, mentally pondering and pumping her fist up and down, Yin let out a slow breath. Let's just not get involved with anyone of the main characters like the demons in Muzan, or even Hashiros or Tanjiro. I just need to get home. Her consuming thoughts occupied her until she realized that she had reached the next town over, only resting for an hour and gaining her necessities like food and water before continuing down the winding path that seemed to go on forever. She didn't want to stop, not with the threat of Doma being able to find her. So she ran most of the way, finding that the sun was just beginning to set as she finally stopped in the third town over. He might find me, but at least I'm far away enough that it will take some time if he wants to reach me. Since Yin still has no money, she couldn't afford a place to stay for the night. So she stalked around the premises until she found a small storage house that contained a variety of small tools and knickknacks. Clearing away a spot on the floor, she then grabbed an old blanket that was conveniently stashed away there and curled up into a small ball for the night, shivering ever so often. I miss home. It's time for a Togawa era secret. Doma thought he was hallucinating when sensing Yin outside the house. Yin wants to make the demons believe that she is still dead since she knows that they would kill her over and over again as a never-ending food source if she didn't. Doma, let Yin escape.